Well, that happened. I put a couple of polls up on my channel asking people who they were going to vote for if they're in the United States. Is it Trump? Was it Kamala? Was it someone else? Were they not going to vote at all? I did this twice. Each time Trump won by a pretty significant margin. Now, love him or hate him, I don't like him. If you, as a former member of Jehovah's Witnesses, have decided that you will have nothing to do with someone who voted different than you, I got some news for you. Go back to the Kingdom Hall, my friend. You haven't changed at all. Because if you're willing to shun someone because they don't think or act or believe all the same things you do, you're not any better off, and you may as well just bring your ass back to the cult. Am I right? Am I wrong? I think I'm right. For me, if you hate a political person who doesn't even know your name, who doesn't care about you at all, more than you love members of your family, people who are your friends, people who have actually existed in your life and done good things for you, or been a part of your current existence, you're still in a cult. You may as well go back to the Kingdom Hall and listen to the governing body, do everything they say, hate everyone they tell you to hate, even though they don't know your names either. They don't care about you either. You haven't changed. That would be my message to people who, after the U.S. election, have their panties in a wad because the person they weren't in favor of didn't win. Now, I'm not telling you to like the guy. I don't like the guy. I've never liked the guy. Jimmy knows this. We've had this discussion on this channel and on his. But that person, whoever it is, in whatever position, doesn't care about you. So you cutting off the people who do care about you, because those people might disagree with you on who's best for the country, who's best in the office, whatever. That's a huge mistake. And it shows that those cobwebs of indoctrination are still there for you. And I pity you if you feel that way. I don't feel that way. Jimmy and I have disagreed on so many things for so long when it comes to politics. But you know what I know? This is what I know. Jimmy is my friend. Jimmy has been there for me. Jimmy has a good heart. So just because I don't always agree with the things that he believes doesn't mean I'm going to cut him off. Doesn't mean I'm going to shun him, disfellowship him from my life. I'm not going to do that. And I'll be real, I didn't vote this time. Now, I had an inclination of who I wanted to vote for, and I tried to go do that, but I happened to miss the poll by 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. And then on voting day itself, my work schedule was so packed I couldn't do it. But in the end, it really didn't matter. So I'm not concerned about it. But then Jimmy posts a video about his response to all this, and he gets a reaction, a comment from someone who says that they're being shunned by people in the EXJW community because that individual voted for Trump. Now, look, first of all, I get why a lot of EXJWs don't like the man. And again, let me remind you, I don't like him either. We came out of a conservative Christian religion that was extremely controlling, very culty, that we now vehemently disagree with everything they stand for. And so it's understandable that a lot of XJWs would go hard liberal. I get that. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand. I get it. I'm right there with you. I tend to lean pretty libertarian. Basically, just don't tell me what to do. Leave me be. I'll leave you be, and ne'er the twain shall meet, right? So I get it. I get the visceral reaction to someone who, in the mind of an EXJW who's very liberal now, is very conservative and smacks of that old religious idealism. I get it. I do understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand. But if you're cutting people out of your life because they think that that person's politics are better for them on whatever level, economically, socially, whatever, you have not learned the lesson that every EXJW needs to learn. And that lesson is this: if you allow yourself to be controlled, if you allow yourself to cut people off because they disagree with you, my friend, your ass is still in a cult. Whether it's of your own making or of a new cult, a political cult, it's still the same thing. You haven't learned at all that every institution on planet Earth that has human beings in it has that same tribal quality. For me, you've only really actually escaped the cult when you rise above that tribalism and recognize that you don't have to obey the dictates of your group. You don't have to cut people off because they disagree with your group. Now, you don't have to agree with them. You don't. You don't have to like their position. You don't. And you know what? If their position makes them toxic in your life, well, then I get it. Obviously, you wouldn't want to associate with someone who's toxic, who drags you down. But Jimmy and I, we disagree on some things. We agree on a lot of things. We disagree on some things. But Jimmy's not toxic. Jimmy's got a big heart. He's a good guy. He always does what he believes is the right thing to do. Even if I don't agree with him, I can't judge his motives because his motives are pure. So why would I cut him out of my life? Just because I disagree on some political point. And politically, we're more aligned than we used to be. But even when we weren't, even when I was absolutely hardcore against his positions, I wasn't going to cut the man out of my life. He's my friend. I love the guy. He's always been a good friend. So if you are cutting people out of your life that love you and that at one time you cared about because some figure you don't even know, who doesn't know your name and who wouldn't give 2 freaking pennies to save your life if it was in danger, you're still in the cult or in a new one. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't let some rando politician dictate to you who you should love and who you should care about. Make sure, in my opinion, that the people in your life are the people who have demonstrated that they're your friends, that they care about you. Politics is politics. The world's going to be what it's going to be. The only people that are really impacting your life are the people who are in your life. And don't let anybody else tell you who those people should be. But that's my opinion. I want to know what you think. Have you cut people out of your life because they disagree with you politically? Do you think that's the right thing to do? If you do, tell me about it in the comments. If you don't, tell me about it in the comments. I want to know. Personally, for me, the way I like to put it is something that I heard years ago. You may have a problem, but we don't have a problem. If you choose to cut me out, well, that's your loss. But I'm not going to do that to people that I care about who have demonstrated to me that they're good people that deserve and are worthy of my love and a friendship and attention. Maybe you choose to do that because they disagree with you on something. Maybe you don't. Regardless, tell me about it in the comments, and I'll see you next time.